Good afternoon. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO, Santa Cruz, KSCO.com. It's 12:07, a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hope everyone's having a great day. I'm Jason Struby. It's time for your weather and traffic report. And here we go. Highway 17 southbound, been heavy all morning. Right now it's gotten even worse. You're down to a crawl even at Camden Avenue coming south out of Campbell. 5 miles an hour for about 4 miles there till you get to almost to the Lex. Fine. And up to the limit after that. Northbound 17, all clear. Highway 1 showing some traffic there at Freedom Boulevard. 5 miles an hour till you get at least through Aptos. You'll be back up to speed right after State Park. Southbound 1 looks good till you get to Salinas Road. Heavy to the bridge there in Moss Landing. And again, through Monterey County, approaching Sand City. About 4 miles of heavy traffic there. From Marina to Seaside. 68 heavy to Coral de Tierra towards Monterey. 101 southbound, a nightmare from Gilroy to Prudendale. Straight traffic jam the whole way, 10 miles. Also through Morgan Hill, things are heavy southbound. It's 12:08. I'm going to be here at the station all day long. 2300 Portola Drive. It would be a great day to come get your tangy tangerine, especially with these high temperatures. Your body needs those essential vitamins and minerals. You can get just about everything your body needs to the bare minimum requirements for life, in fact, in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Healthy Star Pack. Again, 2300 Portola Drive, longevity sale all day long. Come get yours. It's 12:09, time for the Flavors Radio Show with your hosts, celebrity chefs Greg and Marlene, KSCO.
Opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are not necessarily those of KSCO Radio, its staff, management, or advertisers. If something is said with which you disagree, please call us during the program in order to help us balance comment.
It's time now for Flavors on KSCO, a show about food and wine and all the great things that go along with those two things. If you'd like to participate, our telephone number is 831-479-1080. That's 479-1080. And now we'd like to welcome our two favorite celebrity chefs on Flavors, Greg and Marlene.
Hello, everybody. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you are listening to Flavors. What?
Because flavor's the spice of life.
Darn tootin' it is. Okay, this week we have got a fun-filled fact show for you today. We're going to start it off with our first guest. And Marlene, you want to get my glasses so I could actually see? They're in my shirt right there on the couch. We're trying to do a lot of things here at one time today, and of course, don't give me chewing gum or otherwise I am totally off the rails. Okay. Don't have my glasses, huh? All right. Should be in the shirt. Oh, well, it's not. All right. Okay, we have Max here who's filling in for me while Marlene's ran off with the circus. We have our first guest, and our first guest is Tracy. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you are most certainly welcome. I am, let's see here. How do they got this thing plugged in? I'm trying to see if I can get you on 2 ears here today. Okay. How do you pronounce your last name, Tracy?
Curvos.
Curvos. Okay. And she has written a book called The New York Kitchen Cookbook. Why don't you tell us all about that?
Sure. My book came out a couple of weeks ago, the New York City Kitchen Cookbook, and all of the recipes in the book are inspired by the specialty food shops that we have here in New York,
All right.
including the spice stores, the cheese shops, butcher shops, Indian spice stores, just all the wonderful stores that we have here in New York.
All right. Well, this sounds really good. Now I wish how's the weather back? You get the humidity yet?
No, not yet. It's kind of a dismal day today.
I think I was watching the news today. It looked like Harvey was going to come up and visit you guys for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not as intense.
Not as bad,
but, yeah.
obviously. That does remind me. We do want to send out our hearts and prayers to all the victims in Texas and in Louisiana for Hurricane Harvey, and our good friends Paul Liggett and Debbie. Paul is going under the knife Tuesday or Wednesday for open heart surgery. So all our hearts and prayers go out to you here on National Prayer Day. So there you have it. All right. Let's see what we got going here. So how's the book set out? You have different categories.
Yeah, so I have it. I have appetizers, I have weeknight dinners, weeknight feasts, side dishes, and desserts, and a few other chapters too.
I'm getting hungry already. Now, are these recipes the restaurant's recipes, or are these your own?
These are my own recipes, and they're inspired by the shop. So what I do is I like to go out and venture around the city and go to different stores. Mm-hmm. And I also stop by the farmer's market, and I bring everything home and sort of create my own dishes from the ingredients that I discovered.
Now, do you have family and friends you practice your recipes on? And
yes, I do.
Whoever's not whoever's not twitching at the end of the meal, you go, "Ooh, this might be a good one."
Yes, exactly. Nobody got sick afterwards.
Don't worry. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's sort of
I kind of plunk along as much as I possibly can, get the recipe down where I think it's good, and then I turn it around onto my friends and say, "Well, here you go, gang. Try it out," and then just watch them with bating breath, going, "Please, please, please." And most of the time, if I like it, I'm pretty sure they're gonna like it. But
good.
Recipes don't always come out, so perfect the first time. All right, so let me take a look here. I'm using my wife's glasses because we can't find mine.
Okay.
So
hopefully you have the same eye.
Yeah, not really.
I also have a young daughter, so I test some recipes on her too.
Oh, so that's I always heard that because I don't have any kids. But that's what I always heard. Having kids is they're good for a few things, and one is as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Oh, they found my glasses.
Oh, great.
Hot damn. Now I don't have to go through the show like, okay.
Wondering.
Oh, that's much better. Roasted red pepper spread. Ooh, that. Oh, I gotta look at that.
Yeah, that's a favorite.
And it almost looks like a more of a tight chimichurri.
Yeah. You could add a little more olive oil if you want it a little more like a sauce.
Yeah. Ooh,
but I like it like that, spread on some crunchy bread. It's delicious.
All her recipes are in Imperial Gang. Looks like easy to follow instructions, so it's not as though you need to be a rocket scientist for anything on this stuff. Olive tapenade. Ooh, yum, yum, yum. Sweet potato and carrot dip. With what kind of seeds are those? Nigella?
Those are Nigella seeds.
Nigella seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my word!
Have an onion flavor to them.
And then you just spread it on. You take a baguette, you cut them up, and then you spread it on the bread.
Yep, on that or on crackers.
Is it served hot or cold?
I serve it cold, but it could be served warm.
Okay.
Maybe even with some chopped up vegetables to go along with it.
That sounds good. miso honey eggplant dip. Oh, miso want to try that.
Yeah. Yeah,
We-
I love miso and honey together.
We actually went and had Mediterranean food last night and had one of my favorites, baba ganoush, which is an eggplant dish.
Yes.
My mom didn't care for it too much, but she's from New England, from Rhode Island, where they boil everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
everyone
from
knows.
New England also.
Oh, there you go. So you know. I swear to
Yeah,
God,
I know what it's like.
I went to Thanksgiving there one year, and I swear to God, everything on the table was boiled. It even looked like the bird was boiled.
Funny.
And I
Yeah,
said,
every side dish.
every side dish is boiled. Mini Greek meatballs. Okay. What's within a Greek meatball that's different from other meatballs?
Well, I added some Greek flavors like feta cheese, oregano, which is an herb used in a lot of Greek cuisine,
Yeah.
and some lemon zest.
Those,
Give them some Greek
Tracy,
flavor.
those look delicious. Oh, and I like
you.
I like the feta cheese part. Oh, Marlene, take a look at that.
Oh, that looks so
Doesn't that
good.
look really good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. What else do we have? Do you have a favorite recipe in here, or does your little girl? You only have one child?
I have one child, yes. I have a daughter, Sabrina, who's 9.
Okay, so Sabrina's
And
your favorite child. Then is what you're telling me.
she's my favorite child.
All right, all right.
If you go to page 30,
She what?
this kind of food. If you go to page 30,
Okay,
she loves charcuterie, which is not actually a recipe, but
really.
her favorite.
She's
food to eat.
she's into dried aged meats, huh?
She is. That's her. She told me she could eat that all day, and
Oh.
she prefers that over dessert.
And how old is she?
9.
Wow.
Oh, guys, any future husbands out there? She's going to be expensive.
Yeah, and she's picky too. She likes certain ones, from certain stores.
Wow. Well, you know what? At least she's got good taste.
There you go.
Damn sure. Wow, look at
true.
that. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I didn't get to have my first prosciutto till I went to Italy in my my 30s, I think. Oh, so I
I
was
don't think I had it till later.
I was deprived.
Yes.
Let's see, classic pizza. Your pizza looks very nice.
Yeah, we love making pizza together. On Friday nights, we make our own dough. We make the sauce.
Oh, is Friday night pizza night there?
Yes.
Wonderful. Truffle pizzas, Marlene. Look at this.
Oh.
Oh, you just bought Marlene.
Oh, good with the truffles.
Yeah.
Yes, I love truffles.
Expect a knock on your door next Friday.
Oh, good. You're welcome to come over anytime. And you know, there's this company here called Urbani Truffles, and I'm sure you can order this online, but they sell a tomato sauce with truffles in it. So I put that on the pizza, making it so easy.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Truffles are they black truffles?
Yes.
Black truffles.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at that, Marlene.
Oh, fabulous.
Doesn't that look really
My
good?
favorite. Anything with truffles. I even
Yeah.
have popcorn with truffles.
She has popcorn with truffle oil.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
a good
salt.
idea.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
good. Mussels with garlic white wine sauce. And you know, gang, a lot of people out there, look at mussels and don't really think about eating them. They're just those things that hang on to piers. And they're very tasty. They're very, very good. I mean, clams aren't the only shellfish out there in the sea. And mussels are a great alternative and something different for you and your guests to try.
Yeah, and they're such a wonderful canvas to make different types of broth.
Oh yeah, the broths are wonderful, wonderful. And if you serve that to your friends, and if you really like mussels and they don't eat them, well, there's more for you. So
Exactly.
that's what
serve
that's
a glass of wine and a baguette.
there you go. Send them home early, and curl up and eat till you pop. Beets and feta salad with coriander, orange, and vinaigrette. That sounds like a good summer salad. Nice and refreshing.
Yes.
Full of flavor. More truffles, Marlene. You're in trouble. Potato dill soup with truffles.
Ooh.
Yeah, she shows the whole truffle this time. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's gang.
Yep.
That looks like a very expensive dish.
This might actually be an adult book because she's exposed her truffles.
Yes. This page didn't have a picture of the soup, but we focused in on the truffles. But
Yeah, for all truffle
slice them
fans.
onto the soup.
Do you have a truffle knife? You know,
I do not have a special truffle knife.
oh, you
I
got
actually-
it. There's
A little shaver.
it's a
You could use a cheese grater too.
yeah, but you
But
got
it's
you,
not
Yeah,
quite
that's
the
true.
same.
It's
You
not
don't
quite as
you don't
thin.
get as thin.
yeah, and they're not that expensive actually.
No.
And if you're doing this enough, then they're worth the investment.
Oh gosh, yes.
Something for my Christmas list.
There you
There
go.
you go. Hey, are you married?
I'm not.
Hey guys, if you're listening out there, she's a great cook. This is a great book, and she needs a truffle
Truffle knife.
a truffle knife.
Truffle shaver.
Truffle slicer. Thank
We,
you.
we try to help out on this show. I'm a giver. What can I tell you?
Wonderful. That's funny.
You're not going to have another interview like this, I guarantee.
Oh, it's such a beautiful book.
Asian-inspired gazpacho.
Gazpacho. Yep. That's a
And
nice summer soup.
nice.
I love gazpacho.
Yeah, we had a cold cucumber soup the other
Yes,
night.
that was delicious.
And that was wonderful. Mary, if you're listening, thank you once again. That was delicious. Ooh, now we're coming back into Greg territory. Clam, saffron, and chorizo stew.
That's one of my favorite dishes.
Now this the chorizo is New England chorizo. It's chorizo, right? It's the hard chorizo.
Yeah, the hard one. Yeah.
Okay, it's not the Mexican chorizo, but it's the hard chorizo.
Mm-hmm.
And that clam, saffron, and chorizo stew. Ooh, let's mark this. Let's mark this page so when we say we're coming over, she can make that. She can make that for us.
That one. When you come to visit me.
Yeah.
And where are you located?
I live in Brooklyn, New York, in Carroll Garden.
Ah.
Old Italian neighborhood.
Gosh, we've got a whole bunch of people to see in New York.
Yeah, we're gonna be fat when we leave that place.
Okay,
Or I'm sorry,
calm
in my case, fatter.
Well, you do a lot of walking in New York. So.
There you go. There you
Walking.
go.
Don't they have cabs? I heard they had cabs over there. Walking. Bite your tongue. Smoked oyster chowder. Ooh.
Oh, I love smoked oysters. I'm from Washington State, so oysters and clams and salmon, of course.
Yeah, we actually
Right up my alley.
we'll eat raw oysters, obviously, but we actually have a cast iron pan that's it's got indentations that holds a dozen oysters, and we barbecue our oysters.
Wow.
So,
Well, there's another present I'd like to receive.
There you go.
okay, guys, she wants more than one guy, unless it's Daddy Warbucks, and just keep adding to this. Hell, by the time I'm finished with this book, she's gonna have a whole closet full of stuff.
I know, I do. I have tons of kitchen things already, but there are always those few extra items.
Sure.
Squash, yeah, you can never have enough. Squash
You can
soup
never have
with
enough.
ginger and leeks.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh, that's really good.
Yeah.
You know, and
You know what? There's another great mixture, which is leek and truffle.
leek and truffle.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken, chickpea, chorizo stew with lime yogurt. Oh, hey, I don't know why this woman isn't, snatched up yet. That's ridiculous. What are you? What's going on with you guys back in New York? Get with the program.
I know, right?
She sure wouldn't last on the market that long out here in California.
Maybe I should move.
Maybe you should move. Oh, I see a picture on page 60 of her and her little darling daughter. Looks like she's very well behaved, at least in that picture.
She is.
Good.
She's staring at the prosciutto in the cut.
That is what she's
Wow.
doing. She's going, oh, you mean we can't buy a whole leg? What? What's with the problem? What's with the situation?
Oh, I'm with her. I love prosciutto. Any old way. Wrapped in melons all by itself, on pizza.
And we actually have one of those prosciutto leg holders too,
Yes.
don't we? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think a couple of them.
I am the king of toys. So kitchen toys.
Yeah, too many.
Yeah, I like kitchen toys too.
Yeah. Quick Korean short ribs. There you go, Marlene.
Oh, I love
she loves her
Korean.
Korean short ribs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, let's see.
And
Seared tamari orange scallops. Oh, that's
ooh,
good.
that sounds
you
good.
had scallops the
I
other
had
night.
scallops night before last.
Yeah,
I
wasabi
love
sesame crusted tuna.
Ooh.
Damn, guys, get with the program. This is a good cook.
You'll eat well if you come over.
You'll eat well. Oh, orange feta, oregano feta crusted rack of lamb.
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
That sounds
Oh,
delicious.
You know, Tracy, Marlene and I haven't been getting along very much lately.
Yeah, we have an anniversary coming
Yeah.
up, remember?
Oh, that's right. Oh, I love you, honey. Oh, my God. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Strip steak with kaffir lime béarnaise.
Kefir.
Yeah,
Kefir,
lime. It's
kefir.
a wonderful, leaf. It adds a different flavor than the usual tarragon.
We have have you ever heard of a Thermomix machine?
No.
They're out of Germany. We'll add that to your Christmas list. Guys, she needs a Thermomix.
They're about $1,400.
They're only around $1,400. So this is you're going to know how much someone really cares for you at this. Say, oh, I'm sorry, you were outbid by Bob. He gave me a Thermomix. And I make all my béarnaise and hollandaise sauce in this thing also.
Yeah.
Besides cooking risotto and things like
Oh,
that.
nice.
Flank steak with lime and garlic. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Dijon chicken. Yeah, that's a neat thing. I mean, San Francisco has them, but nowhere near what New York has. And, we traveled to Italy, and Italy has all these specialty stores that, you just go in and just drool the whole time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Here's hummus crusted chicken. Well, there's a different way of using your hummus.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Wow, you got a fish thing in here. We're running out of time, so I kind of have to... gang, I haven't gotten halfway through this damn book. Book is about 216 pages long, and pumpkin with truffle cream and crispy scallops. Oh, wow.
That's a nice fall dish. I'll be making that soon.
Okay. Wow. Oh no, she's got a little pasta area here. You buy all your pasta, fresh pasta?
I buy a lot of fresh pasta, yes.
Fresh pasta?
Italian markets.
Okay, all right. So I guess there aren't a bunch of Burger King or McDonald's wrappers laying around the house then.
No, there aren't any of those.
None of those.
At my house.
Okay. So I thought I'd throw that in there. Gang, we got to take a break. Her book is called The New York Kitchen Cookbook by Tracy. Go ahead, Tracy. Curvell. It is a flavor's favorite. Go out if you really want a neat book. This is it. Tracy, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Have a great day now. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, we got to take a break, and then we got a special treat for you coming up. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you're listening to Flavors.
You may already know Cardinale Moving provides residential moves, but did you know we provide much more? Small or large, we move it and store it. Our services include moving, inventory management, transportation, installation, and storage. We have worked with dozens of business centers, galleries, hotels, contractors, and designers to move items in and out of a place. We provide free, no-obligation quoting. Call us at 831-632-4100.
The following is a KSCO editorial. Here is KSCO owner Michael Zwirling.
At a time when people are talking more and more about a looming civil war in our country, I want to share two KSCO listener emails that I have received during the past 24 hours. Emailer A says, "Not that you care, but I am done listening to your station. I am not going to rant. Basically, I'm tired of all the politically correct crap you promote on your station, and I'm sick of hearing that big mouth nobody Billy Sunshine run his mouth every day. I just wish I could magically create a giant toilet bowl and flush your station along with Alex Darnell and the rest of your politically correct group. The only normal one there is Charlie, and he's got to be the glue holding your piece of bleep radio station together. Keep on going with your agenda to ruin this country. Emailer B says, regarding Georgia, I am disgusted and ashamed to be identified as coming from the same county as that in which this white extremist broadcaster is given a media platform from which to rant dementedly about white genocide in America. If there were ever an incentive to foster such a genocide, it would be her and her like. In fact, of course, any genocide is inhumane and outrageous to advocate. What is needed is to shut the woman up, now. Though speaking from opposite perspectives, both emailer A and emailer B have one striking thing in common. They both want to shut down free speech. I believe that if they and other enemies of free speech are successful, then there will indeed be a civil war in our country, sooner than we think. Opposition to free speech and free thought has gotten so strong and overpowering now that locally, an outspoken but politically incorrect talk host on KSCO has resigned, and one of the most popular restaurants for nearly 4 decades has been forced to close. Do we want a civil war? If yes, stay the course. It is working beautifully. If no, fight the urge to kill free speech by using free speech in reasonable civil discussion, and appreciate that you still have it. KSCO KOMY remains proud to be the venue for free speech and reasonable discussion. For KSCO and KOMY, I'm Michael Zwirling.
Don't miss the grand opening of Abbott Square, happening this weekend in downtown Santa Cruz at the MAW, the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History. Come drink, eat, dance, and explore with family, friends, and your Santa Cruz County community. With free festivities brought to you by the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History, there's something for everyone. Find us on Facebook at Santa Cruz MAW and learn more about this weekend's events.
Okay, we're back. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you're listening to Flavors. Okay, now last week, if you were listening, we were down at the LA Food and Wine, and we started off Friday down south with the Grand Central Market and did a bunch of interviews there. Then went to the LA Food and Wine Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday we did the live broadcast. Fascinating. Now I'm going to tell you guys, like I've said, I'm a giver, and for Friday I had to eat straight with samples for 2 hours, and then Saturday I had to eat straight for 3 hours, and Sunday I had to eat and drink for 3 hours again. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. It is a rough job. Someone has to do it. I asked for volunteers. No one wanted to do it, so I was once again forced to do this for you. Anyway, Saturday, last Wednesday. What? Oh, last Wednesday. Are we running out of time?
Yeah, we got to do it pretty quick.
Okay, last Wednesday we were up in Emeryville doing a pre-taping with Martin Yan from Yan Can Cook, and this is the pre-taped interview we'd like to air right now. Jason, take it away. Hi, this is Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you're with a special Flavors episode. We have Chef Martin Yan here with us today. We are on site at the Chef Martin Yan's studios here in Emeryville.
Yes.
And Chef, you just got back from a long trip.
Yeah, I have never been so busy. I always told my friends that as I get older, I should slow down, but it looks like I'm rushing ahead and get busier and busier. I guess when you enjoy what you do, you don't really
You don't
realize. I don't mind.
And you've been gone for how many days?
I've been gone since mid-May, actually.
Mid-May, and where did you go?
We went all over the place. I was in Vietnam, I was in Kuala Lumpur, I was in Hong Kong, I was in Taiwan. I was in Chengdu, China, for almost about 35 days.
Oh my God!
Wow.
We're doing the taste of Chengdu.
Yeah, before Martin got here, we were asking everybody, and they all said, I don't know how the man does it.
No.
But I look, he's got a car battery hooked to him and shock him every so once in a while.
The Energizer Bunny.
Yeah,
No, actually, I have a little a solar panel on my head.
panel on
It's
your
always recharge, constant recharge.
Now, is this for, you were gone all that time, you're filming or taping a new show,
Yes.
and it will be, when will this be airing?
I will be airing probably end of January.
End of January? And how many episodes did you do when you were over there?
We're doing 13 half-an-hour show, and a lot on location. That's the reason why it takes so much time.
Right.
And actually, the crew, part of the crew here, actually traveled to Chengdu with us.
Yeah, we talked to your director earlier.
It's a lot of fun.
A lot
Lot
of
of
fun.
fun.
A lot of work, they said.
He was
Lot of
saying, your wife Susan says, I won't see him for another 60 or 70 days. Now, in my case, my wife probably wouldn't complain. So she'd go, yay, I won't see him. But we've met Susan, and a very nice lady. Okay, so each region that you're going to has a specialty food? Is that the way it's going to work?
Well, in China is so big, just like the U.S., and also China being ancient civilization, each area actually developed a lot of regional flavor because of the demographic, because of the weather, the soil, and the temperature. So each area actually produces something very unique, very different. Like the apple from one place, the orange from one place, the tangerine from one place to another, very, very different. And also spices also different, and the weather, the temperature is different. So the food habit, the dietary habit is also slightly different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have a cousin that moved. He lived in San Diego, and he moved over there to Laos.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he actually would go to Myanmar before it was supposed to. But a lot of salads, a lot of spicy salads over there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize in different part of China and Asia, they actually have a variety of salad. And also they are normally like a one-dish meal. It's not just salad itself. It's basically a one-dish meal. And also much more flavorful, much more dressing, intense flavor dressing than the salad in the U.S. Much more variety.
Much more variety.
A lot of fresh herbs and spices. Rather than just dressing, a lot of fresh herbs and spices.
And a lot of lettuce.
A lot of lettuce. They actually, not only lettuce, they actually eat a lot of root vegetable as well as leaves and stems. So basically they use the whole plant. Here in North America, when we refer to salad, it's basically lettuce.
Yeah.
Very rarely use, maybe at the most occasionally, spinach. But over there, it's just a variety of vegetables.
Seaweeds.
A lot,
like that.
yeah, a lot of not only seaweed, but a lot of indigenous wild plants and vegetables.
How about nuts and seeds?
Nuts and seeds they use.
Yeah,
they
right.
use a lot of nuts and
Yeah,
seeds. They
good
use
for
a lot
you.
of beans,
Bean.
all kind of things. I think the dietary practice in Asia, because of scarcity of food, they actually make use of anything that is edible. Here we're abundant, so we have choices. We eat this, we
spoiled.
don't eat that.
We waste a lot of food.
We
here.
waste a lot of food.
I wouldn't say that we waste a lot of food, but it's just that I think in general, people brought up in North America are not as adventurous in
Right.
terms of eating things. Over there, they basically, particularly you go to on the street of Thailand or part of, in some places in China, they actually eat a lot of things that are unmentionable cuisines, like things that are frying, things that are bite you and
Bugs.
and, and insects and things.
Yeah.
And basically those are really pure protein.
How do they taste?
It depends on how you prepare it. Sometimes they're braised, sometimes they're cooked in special heavy sauces. Most of them are deep fried until crispy. When something is deep fried crispy, it's so crunchy, you can't really tell.
What it is?
Yeah, what it is. If I cut it up and put it in other things, you can't really tell if you don't ask.
Well, you had some down in Mexico,
I went
Greg.
down to Mexico and they go, we were at a restaurant and they served this one dish and they go, I go, these are delicious. They go, you want to know what it is? I go, no, let me finish first. Then you can tell me.
Yeah.
And they were ants. They were big, giant ants.
Yeah. Basically, actually, I always help people, and I take a group of people to China and Southeast Asia on the culinary and
We're gonna
cultural.
have to go on one of those trips.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to come. Actually, we have one coming up in September. If you have time, you can join us. A lot of fun. And a lot of times, will always tell people, when you eat something, if you don't know what it is, don't ask. Just eat.
Just
If
eat
you
it.
like it, then you ask. If you don't like it, don't even ask.
Well, last year, you and your wife were generous enough to invite us to one of the dinners that you had young chefs at.
Yeah.
And we sat at your table, which, thank you again. We don't know why we were there, but
Was
thank
a
you again.
wonderful treat.
Wonderful thing. And we had Chef Chu there, your good friend.
Yeah.
And they were serving us, well, how many courses were there?
Oh.
Like 12 or 13?
It was a lot.
It was a lot of food.
Well, typical
And I
Chinese
had
menu.
sea cucumber, which
Oh,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
never had before.
Well, actually, sea cucumber actually is a very, very healthy ingredient.
That was the only thing I passed on, I think.
But if you don't even ask, when you slice it up, actually it's very, very good. It's very crunchy, and it's actually a lot of collagen, and it's a lot of nutrients, a lot of vitamin and minerals. It's a very healthy ingredient.
Our mutual friend, Katie Chin,
Yeah.
told us about sea cucumbers.
She said it was good for fertility.
Good for fertility. So we never let her
That's
down.
how she had her twins.
We have twins too. So
So there you go. There must be something to it.
There you go.
Okay, now is it mainly a vegetarian diet over there, or is it?
no, I think a vegetable. I wouldn't call it a vegetarian diet. It's more a vegetable-based diet. Like you go to because there's a lot of Buddhist influence, so a lot of vegetable-based diet. You know that in North America we tend to overeat protein. We eat too much protein. We don't really need so much protein, and like I have not gained 1 pound in 26 years.
Wow.
Not 1 pound.
You look great.
Well, I'm gonna stick with him
Yeah,
because
you should.
I've gained in the last 50 years. I've gained 2 pounds per year.
No, I think, and I think it's about diet and exercise. I move around a lot. I move from one place to another. It's constantly move. Like I get to the airport, I never walk on the conveyor belt.
No.
Never. I just walk with my luggage. If I have 2 pieces or 3 pieces, I just walk, and I try to raise. So basically, I try to walk at least 15,000, 18,000 steps a day.
Wow.
Average.
Day?
Yeah,
A day.
day. Because I keep on moving. Like this morning, I get up. Even I'm a little bit exhausted. I just got back 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But I get up early in the morning. I was mowing I was trimming trees in my garden.
Wow.
Keep physically. I work with. I'm the ambassador for AARP. And
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with Gary Law, we always remind everybody, you are what you eat. Everybody knows. Everybody hear about this, but a lot of people don't practice it.
Sure.
So not only what you eat is diet and exercise.
Yep.
And walk the dog. Where we live is like Santa Cruz, rolling hill. So we basically walk.
Yeah.
We walk, and we when you walk, you breathe, and you stretch, and you breathe new, fresh air.
But walking, you don't have to do a strenuous exercise like
No, just
running.
walk.
Just walk in it.
Just walk.
Many years ago, I was walking like up to 5 miles a day, and I was losing weight.
Yeah.
And that felt great. Then I stopped, so I got to start that again.
No, and also I think in general, keep an active life is very important. I never sit down for more than 45 minutes.
Wow.
Right.
Right. If I sit for about 45 minutes an hour, then I feel an urge. It reminds me, stand up.
Stand up.
And walk. Nowadays, a lot of people actually standing up and work.
Yes.
Uh-oh. We just died. What happened? Hang on. Take it off pause. Okay, so we were talking about
Exercise.
Diet and exercise.
Diet and
Yes.
exercise?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think people always say, "Oh, you're what you eat," But everybody also know that diet and exercise basically go hand in hand. So I try to have a vegetable-based diet. I didn't say that I don't eat meat. I do eat meat, but I sparingly. I use meat more as a flavoring agent, as a complement, more so as the main course.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, all my life. If I go to a typical Chinese restaurant or any restaurant, including in my own restaurant in San Francisco, NY China, I always order a minimum 2 vegetable dishes. When I cook at home, I always have big plate of vegetable that's stir fry, either stir fry or poach. I eat eggplant. I eat all kind of vegetable. Eggplant, mustard green, bok choy, all the long,
Green
big
vegetables.
green vegetable,
Right.
long
okay.
leaf.
What did we cook with Katie Chin? We made lettuce cups, chicken lettuce cups. Excuse me, and we did some vegetable where we had to pound the crap out
Oh,
of it.
the lemongrass.
Yeah.
Lemongrass. And that was one thing where
Yeah.
the majority of it
Yeah.
we don't use. And that was really something. Now, we want a deep dark secret here, Martin. Do you like Mexican food?
I love Mexican food.
Do you?
My kids love Mexican food. You know why I like it? Because it's very comforting. It's very passenger, very home cooking, and it's just simple. And you eat a lot of vegetable too.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of salad, a lot of avocado. Avocado is good.
Yes.
And I just stay away from. I don't eat as much beans. Because when you eat too much beans, it's just a lot of starch.
I wish you'd tell my mother that. It's for a different reason, but okay.
But I think in any cuisine, every single cuisine has certain elements are really good. You just have to watch out. You know, whether it's Western cuisine or Asian cuisine, you just have to watch out.
But
And
you have
balanced diet.
all around palate, though. It's not as though you just
I travel all over.
you travel all over
Yeah,
the place.
and for educational purposes, if I am in Thailand or I'm in Chengdu, I would have Chengdu food every day. I would not go, let's gonna have a little fried chicken or burger. If I go to a place, if I go to Thailand, I go to Korea, I go to Chengdu, China, I would have the local food plate basically every day. I would dig up all the simple things and all the interesting things, and then I'll go to different restaurants. Never stick with one restaurant and one diet.
That's what we tell our listeners is that if you travel, because we love to travel,
Yeah.
if you travel, don't go to an American restaurant if you're out of this country. Go to where the locals go.
Oh,
and
definitely.
try it.
Exactly.
We were in Sicily one year, and everyone says you've got to try the sea urchins.
Oh, surgeon is the best.
You like that?
I love it.
And I wasn't wild about it, but Marlene seemed to like them.
They were okay.
And they take them out, and I even got the sea urchin scissors.
Yeah,
It look like an
Cut it up.
Cut it
Yeah.
up. It looks like a
You just can spoon it
you
out.
spoon it out. They actually will spoon it with their finger and just scoop it out that way. Very adventuresome, but we don't have that here. You go, ew, really? And even my aunts that I ate down in Mexico, they weren't bad. As long as you don't tell me what it is, I'm a happy camper.
Basically, when you serve sea urchin, if you just get it right out, may not necessary without any other seasoning. Now, in Japanese restaurant, they normally would serve with wasabi
Right.
and soy sauce. And when you mix it with it, and the texture is really, I think it's more a texture deal than the, when you bite into it, it's just kind of a little slimy and kind of melt in your mouth. And people love certain texture.
Right.
And when you bite into it, it has to be bind. Just like at the meat, I was in Chengdu. We would taste something. Normally, it is very soft, very moist, and it just kind of melt in your mouth. And some people, when they bite into that, they don't like. That's why a lot of people don't like liver.
Don't like liver.
I
Yeah.
love liver.
Because it's the texture.
Texture.
But I
right.
think it's a matter of psychological too. When you eat, you were brought up to eat, to expect certain things, certain texture, certain flavor. Also, if something change, that is basically like a dietary shock.
Right.
But if you are adventurous enough, like you all travel all over, you might like 95% of the ingredients around the world.
That's what we tell them. We say, try it. You may not like it, but at least you can say, tried it.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a friend that went to New Orleans, and we said, go to Cafe Du Monde and have a beignet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So she comes back and goes, how are the beignets? She goes, oh, I didn't have them. I've had donuts before. We don't talk to her anymore.
Totally different. Yeah, and also it looks like it, but the texture and the feel, everything is different. Just like some people, my wife doesn't like oyster because of the texture and the flavor. But I love it. I can drink oyster.
You do the raw, or we do a raw, but we also barbecue ours.
Oh, I like them anyway.
And
Doesn't
anyway,
matter.
they're very good.
You go to a typical Chinese restaurant, you can eat it raw, you can braise it, you can stew it, you can chop it up and make omelet with it, and you can deep fry it.
Yep.
You can barbecue it. There's so many ways.
When I eat them raw, I can taste the seed.
Oh, and the
They're
different
just
sizes
so
taste different. I mean,
fresh.
they've all got their own unique flavor.
Yeah.
We had some the other night down in Paso Robles, and they were just
delicious.
yummy.
Creamy.
Creamy.
They were
That would have been the word,
creamy.
creamy.
Yeah.
And then there are other times where, like Marlene was saying, you just taste the ocean. It's just delicious.
Crisp and clean.
You've had, obviously, foie gras?
Oh, yeah.
You like foie gras?
I love foie gras.
Next time where we come up and meet you, we'll bring you some foie gras. I have our friend Chef Michael Guignor has the Hudson Valley foie gras.
Yeah, from New York area.
Yeah, and I always got a supply, so I'll bring you some.
Oh, good. I love foie gras. Because you remember for a couple of years, and they banned foie gras.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was sick.
We actually had to go to Reno and buy it out of a parking lot like drugs.
So I think it's kind of interesting. I think we should all open to everybody's culture, dietary culture and heritage. If people have been eating the same thing for so many years, and this is their diet, and this is the way they have developed, and since you don't like it, I think people should respect the culture.
I think Americans, like when you talk about certain cultures that will eat dog and things like that, I mean, mentally they've just got a block. It's just, I can't eat my pet. Or down in South America, I think, whereas Argentina, they eat guinea pig.
Yeah.
And all over the world, they're eating different things. We have a friend that married a Thai Laotian girl, and they get water bugs. I mean, these things are as big as your hand, she loves them. You won't touch them, but she loves them.
No, I think we live in a country of abundance, and we are very fortunate. We're lucky, but we forget. In many places in the world, a lot of people are still starving, and they just have to learn to eat whatever is edible, whatever is good for your body. And a lot of these are basically full of calcium and collagen and protein, pure protein, no fat. And a lot of time, it's about, that's why traveling is so expensive. There's a Chinese saying that you travel 10,000 miles just like you read 10,000 books. When you travel, you find out, you discover, you explore, you know what's going on. Now, in the old days, there's no reality show like what they have today.
Sure. Right.
Now we have some show hosts travel all over the world, just eat all the way throughout the world, and then they discover there are a lot of things that's so edible, it's delicious, but we never try because you go to the store in America, all you see is a cut up piece of meat. Right. I just came back from Korea. I just came back from Asia. I went to some of the places, some butchery and some farms. They basically cut up the whole piece of cattle, a whole piece of lamb, a whole piece of pig, and this is how they eat. If you live in a farm in the old days, there's no butcher.
Everything.
Nothing goes to waste.
Right. You just slaughter. You cut up your chicken. You cut up your duck. Just like hunters. You go hunting. Wild pheasants.
That night we had duck tongue.
Duck tongue.
And it was delicious.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Duck tongue, a duck wrap, a duck chicken feed. A lot of things are very, very good. Very tasty.
We're going to be doing a show out of the Grand Central Market in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And my parents, when I was a kid, owned a couple of stalls there.
Yeah.
And they used to make, at the Roast to Go, they used to make beef tongue tacos.
Oh, love tacos.
And all my friends, I grew up in Orange County, all my friends go, ooh, I go, oh my God, they are delicious. I can't wait for my dad to wake me up at 4:30 in the morning so we can get there on time.
Yeah.
That was the only drawback, but other than that, I got beef tongue tacos for the whole day, and I was a happy camper.
I always encourage people, tourists anywhere from the U.S. to go somewhere, always first go to the local market.
Absolutely.
The central markets are great.
Absolutely.
Always, you go to Thailand, you go to Central Market. You go to Chengdu, you go to Central Market. And also in Asia, you go to the fish market. Then you will see how much Americans miss about seafood. Here we have salmon, trout, tilapia, and maybe a bit few bass, sea bass. But over there, it's just like aquarium.
Oh.
I was eating a live octopus in Korea.
Oh, a live one.
Yeah, live.
I've seen that on tape. How was it? It was rolling around.
Actually, even you cut it up, they're still moving, and they still suck on your tongue. If you don't swallow, you chew it, and then you don't swallow it right away, they actually got stuck here. So actually, every year, I was told,
I don't know if I can do that one.
every year, there are quite a few people die
from
eating because particularly the kids, or the elderly people, they're too slow, and they basically, even you cut it up, they still suck on your, they got stuck here.
Oh dear.
And what is that? The puffer fish is poisonous?
Oh yeah, puffer fish.
In Japan, you have to be certified to be able to
cook
cut that
it.
up. Or
Every year, there are few people also sacrifice their life.
We're going to wrap this up because we know you got taping to go here. On this show, with this next season, a book coming across behind it?
We'll probably electronic book because we have a lot of recipe, a lot of photo, a lot of things.
Good.
And nowadays, it's much easier to share with a lot more people around the world if you have an electronic copy. So this way, this would be Yankin Cook Chengdu, or the Taste of Chengdu, which is basically the panda, home of the pandas, and a lot of spicy food. But a lot of people don't realize it looks spicy, but it tastes delicious. Not too spicy. It just looks like a lot of chili, but the chili basically flavor the dish rather than you have to eat it. A lot of the flavor, a lot of the way that they cook in Sichuan and Chengdu is they use a lot of numbing, Sichuan peppercorn, pickled pepper, fresh pepper, dried pepper, all kind of things. But they all offer and contribute something to the dish.
What are you going to do tonight?
I'm doing a little lunch box for children.
Oh, cool.
And not only for children, because a lot of people nowadays, everybody work. A lot of time people don't go out to eat as much. You go out to eat, it's very expensive, and sometimes it's not necessarily the most healthy way to eat. So encourage people to actually, you can prepare some lunch items, put in a box, just like the Japanese bento box. You go to different places now. You go to different places in Asia now. They have lunch box, got vegetable, protein, starch. It's a complete meal. It's very light, and you can cook it yourself, and you can prepare it for the whole family. So this is what we're going to do. Do it for the kids.
Tane at the walk shop is holding a couple of bento boxes for us.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right, can we get a picture of the three of us?
Okay.
All right.
And
you've got Chengdu coming back again for us?
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Why don't you put your mic down, hon, and get the camera set up and get that, and then we can get Martin on his way. We appreciate your time, sir.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And
it's always a pleasure.
Next time you're in town, Vivian, right? Promised me a soft shell crab recipe, and you told me you wouldn't give it to me. You were going to teach me how to do it.
Ready?
Yeah.
2, 3.
Okay.
One more. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
And
soft shell crab. I just came back from Vietnam. The best soft shell crab is in Vietnam, not in New Orleans.
Not in New Orleans.
The reason is because in Vietnam, all of them are live, moving. Whenever you eat seafood, always the freshest is moving. And you go to New Orleans, or you eat soft shell crab here. It's frozen.
It's frozen.
Right. It's frozen.
Yeah.
And when you froze it by common sense, there's a lot of water coming out when you freeze something.
Yes.
Particularly, you're not freezing at minus 80 degrees, right? So you go to Vietnam, everything is live, it's moving, and you can deep fry them, tempura style, unbelievable.
Well, next time you're in town for less than 5 hours, I'm going to trade you soft-shell crab for some foie gras. How's that for a deal?
I would love it.
All
I
right,
would love
sir.
it.
Well, we just had Martin Yan. Thank you very much.
My
from
pleasure.
Yan
Thank you
Can
very
Cook.
much.
How many shows have you taped so far in your career?
In my career, close to 3,500. Actually, more than 3,500.
Yeah.
Because every year I do a lot of shows.
Oh, my
and I've been
God.
doing it for 37, 38 years.
Oh,
Every
my
year I do maybe close to 50 to 75, up to sometimes 100 shows.
The
When I-
Energized Bunny has nothing on this man.
No, not at
And
all.
when I started, I do 130 shows a year.
Well, you've
Wow.
always been one of my favorites.
Yes,
That's for
and
sure.
it's always been a pleasure having you.
Passion, just like
Passion,
you, just like
yeah.
anybody in any profession, athlete, chef, and media personality like you. It's about passion. You're gonna love, and also it's about sharing. You do this because you share with people.
Right.
Food is about sharing. I cook, I teach, I do because I share with people. So let us share our good food and good fortune and good health with everybody else. And Yan can, so can you.
Thank
Sir,
you
we
very
appreciate
much.
it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
That was Martin Yan. We want to give him a special thank you for doing that. And now we are on break. We'll be back. I'm Greg. You're listening to Flavors.
KSCO, Santa Cruz.
I'm Scott Tannen, founder of Boll & Branch, where you can get the world's most comfortable sheets for less than half of what you'd pay in the store. Our sheets are made from 100% organic cotton and get softer over time. Even 3 U.S. presidents have Boll & Branch sheets. Try them for 30 nights. If you don't love them, send them back for a full refund. Go to bollandbranch.com today for $50 off your first set of sheets, plus free shipping with promo code SLEEP. Spelled B-O-L-L and branch.com. That's bollandbranch.com, promo code SLEEP.
War, poverty, and disaster have left millions of children around the world orphaned, abandoned, alone. When their parents can't be there, SOS Children's Villages is there. SOS Children's Villages is the world's largest nonprofit for orphan and abandoned children. In 134 countries, including the U.S., they provide vulnerable children with a loving and stable family, medical care, and an education. Children in crisis are counting on you. To make a difference in the life of a child, go to sos-usa.org.
Car dealers are skipping an usual feature of Labor Day sales this year. WWJ Radio's Jeff Gilbert.
Well, there's an unusually high number of leftover 2017 models on dealer lots. Edmunds analyst Jessica Caldwell says there aren't a lot of deals to clear them, and it's particularly hard to find no-interest loans.
This year, it looks like automakers are a bit gun-shy with the 0%, as we saw it be, significantly less than what we saw in 2016 and also 2015.
Caldwell says buyers who wait may see the no-interest financing return because car makers have to make room for 2018 models. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
Good afternoon. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz, FM 1041 here in Santa Cruz, 1079 in San Jose, 95.7 in Salinas and Watsonville, KSCO.com. And don't forget about AM 1340 La Selva Beach, Watsonville, 1340comey.com. You can also check out our archive. That's at zbsradio.com. All the shows are there. It's 1:05, a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Also a perfect day to come get your longevity products. I'll be here all day here. Manning the fort. Jason Struby at your service. It's 1:05. Let's get a look at your traffic and weather. Highway 1 northbound into Santa Cruz, heavy from Aptos. Although you're not actually down to a complete crawl. I would say 25 miles an hour till you get past 41st. Highway 17 southbound, heavy from the 85, or even before that, actually. Camden Avenue, you're down to 5 miles an hour all the way till you get past Highway 9. 101, your real nightmare out there right now, especially as you head from Gilroy to Prunedale. You're basically in a traffic jam the whole way. A good 10 miles of straight traffic. Not good. Highway 1 at Moss Landing, heavy in both directions till you get past the bridge. And Highway 1 in Monterey County from Marina to Seaside southbound, 5 miles per hour. 68 also heavy toward Corral de Tierra as you head toward Monterey. It's 1:06. Time now for hour 2 of the Flavors Radio Show with your hosts, Chefs Greg and Marlene, KSCO.
Opinions expressed in the following Flavors program are not necessarily those of the management of KSCO. However, our management is fine. We feed them well. Listening to Flavors may, but not necessarily, cause daydreaming of great meals that someone else's mom may have cooked for you many years ago. Other side effects may occur like stomach cramps, uncontrolled drooling, putting on an apron for no reason at all, telling everyone your best friend is a butcher, have the butcher look at you weird as you call him buddy, love handles, baby fat, ample posterior, liking and actually eating vegetables, trying new things for dinner, making your grocer mad because of all the new things you're asking for, and all around being in a better mood. If hunger or drooling persist for more than 4 hours, call your doctor or call into the Flavors Show. Don't say you weren't warned. Flavors.
Well, hello, gang. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you're listening to Flavors. Sure hope you enjoyed that interview with our good friend Martin Yan from Yan Can Cook. Extraordinary gentleman. I kid around about being a giver. This guy is a giver extraordinaire.
Yep.
And he just goes on and on and on. And they were setting up his show, and they actually kind of started the show with the kids. And he still sat down with us and did not rush through the interview.
No.
So,
very
once
nice.
again, thank you very much to Martin and his whole staff there for helping us out. And we can't wait till the next time coming around. Well, that was Wednesday last week, gang. And then Thursday, we traveled by car down to L.A. And Friday morning, we did the Grand Central Market, which you've heard me talk about quite a bit. And my parents owned a couple of stalls down there when I was just a lad. And we interviewed the owner. Her name is
Adele.
Thank you. Adele Yellen. I was trying to think of her last name before I said the first name. It's Adele Yellen. And Adele, thank you very much for having us. And we had around 15 of the vendors, 15 or 18 of the vendors there that would bring me samples of food. So for 2 hours, I was eating. Just little tidbits. Little tidbits, which after a while, 18 of them add up to a whole lot of tadbits.
What an experience.
It was an experience, and everyone was very, very friendly. It was really nice. I'm so happy to see that the Grand Central Market's still going strong.
Oh, it's really turning into a quite gourmet.
Quite the foodie mecca.
Yeah.
Because all the downtown is slowly but surely converting. It's gone. It was at its heyday, and then it went downhill.
We were there early,
the
and the coffee place out on the front end was just jam-packed with everybody either stopping there and sitting down at the bar having some coffee or getting a coffee to go. I mean, they were just busy. And then there was a breakfast place at the other end called Egg Slut, who was also at both of the Pebble Beach and the L.A.
Food and Wine. Right.
Who had a line around and around.
Oh, after we started at 9 o'clock, around 9:15, we ended around 11:15, and then we packed up and got everything put in the car, and then went back and walked the floor and thanked everybody and everything else. Hey, little side note, the Rolling Stone magazine was actually following us. Yeah. We would do an interview with somebody, and they finally said, let's just follow these guys.
Yeah.
So we are the trendsetters for Rolling Stone magazine. Yeah. Believe it or not. Ripley was there. He certified it. It was so funny because we were walking around, and all of a sudden, here they are right behind us again. And I'm going, damn.
Who are you guys? And they said, we're Rolling Stone magazine.
We're Rolling Stone magazine. I go, oh, well, yeah, then you would be second to us. Yeah, okay.
So anyway.
That was fun. But yeah, Egg Slut had a line a good 40 to 50 people long.
Yep.
They had a counter, and I'm going, well, they're doing okay. The counter was full. But then you go around the corner.
They're still going.
There's this line, and it's like, oh, my word, look at this thing.
For egg bagels.
Egg bagels.
Yeah. Organic eggs, excellent homemade bagels and premium meats. You can have, ham, bacon, or some sausage.
Another really unique stall there at the Grand Central was a thing called PB&J.
Yeah.
And it was everything, drinks, sandwiches, anything you could think of with peanut butter and jelly. That's what this place did.
It was so cool.
It was a cool place.
And incredible design. Very modern.
Oh, yeah.
Backlit with kind of like lavender lights. Yeah. All white.
And the Grand Central is known for its neon. And so there was neon all over. There's a wall. Marlene posted it on Flavors is Everything, I think.
It will be.
And it's a huge wall of just this neon of an upcoming stall that's going to be there. But till they get there, they put this neon up there, and it's not just one little piece. It's like
a whole wall.
It's a whole wall of different neons. So they really invested in this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
There was a pizza place there that was phenomenal. And you want to get Jason on that, and I'll keep talking. And then you've heard me talk about beef tongue tacos. And beef tongue tacos, of course, was something that I grew up with, that all my Orange County friends would look at me and go, "Ew, really?" Well, I decided I'm going, the Roast to Go didn't do beef tongue tacos, but, and this is really, really strange, one of the gentlemen that we interviewed, an older guy, had 2 stalls there, and they were Mexican food places. And he actually used to work for my father back in the late 60s and early 70s. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I worked for Mr. Chuck." And he goes, "You're little Greg?" I'm going, "Yeah, unfortunately not so little anymore." So so we talked to him for a while. So we went over to his stall after we did the taping, went over to his stall, and we had our helpers there for the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, was Frank and Lillian Dresser. And I just want to say thank you very much, you two. We couldn't have done without you. We really appreciate all your help. You are our official LA team. So we all had the flavor shirts. We're a little bit more prepared on this show. We actually had, and you'll see the postings that Marlene will do, with we had a tablecloth with flavors on it, so everyone knew when they sent them over, they go, "Oh, you can't miss it, big red tablecloth with flavors in the front of it," and went that route. But we had the 4 of us got beef tongue tacos, and I guess I cut in line in front of a whole big line. They go, "Greg, there's a line." And I'm going, "Greg, don't wait in a stinky line." And that was appropriate for Grand Central Market, but the girl or the guy that was in the front of the line, she had, I didn't know what to say besides apologizing. So I just, "Oh, sorry about that." She had a beautiful necklace. Like, "Oh, that is such a beautiful necklace." I changed the subject, and then I stayed up in the front. So we got our beef tongue tacos. And hey, Marlene, how were the beef tongue tacos?
They were awesome.
Gang,
I had never had one before.
I am going to come up with my own recipe for beef tongue tacos, and I'll post it. And I will tell you, once I've posted it, it'll be a recipe to die for. It is something that, you just don't think about.
No.
No. It's like,
used to be my mother's favorite sandwich, and growing up, I never had one. But I guess her growing up, she had them quite frequently.
It's the old adage that a woman goes into a butcher's shop and
she lived on a farm, and they had cows.
Yeah, Harry.
You used everything.
I wanted to try something different, cook something different for my family. He goes, "Oh, I got the perfect thing. I've got beef tongue." She goes, "Really? Beef tongue?" She goes, my family will never eat anything out of a animal's mouth, his tongue. Why don't you give me a dozen eggs? So,
God.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Gregory.
I'm full of bad jokes today. Anyway, so
the heat has got to you.
The heat is. Oh, by the way, if you're out there sweltering, you shouldn't be. You should be inside and listening to this show, nice and cool.
There you go.
We'll get into, and it looks like I've got our next guest on the air, and we actually have somebody else who is on the other end. I'm going to lock deep in. Let's see. Where is my lock here? I don't know where it is. anyway, I'm going to bring on our first guest, 714 area code. Who would that be? Let's see here. I'm going to take them on deep. I hope I don't lose you here. Okay, you are on the Flavor Show. Oh, and I lost him. He just hung up. All right. Well, if you're there, block all, hold, lock, and lock does not answer. Anyway, okay, I'm going to lock our next guest on because there's no way I'm going to lose her. We have Deepa Thomas on the air. Deepa, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Greg and Marlene. How are my most entertaining radio hosts doing?
You know
We're
what?
trying to stay cool.
And I only had to pay her $20 to say that. So that was wonderful.
I'm still waiting for the check.
It's in the mail.
Okay. With the beef tongue, I hope.
With the beef tongue. I'm going to come up with a beef tongue recipe that you guys are going to have to try because it was going through. I was looking through your book, and I was seeing a little picture of little Deepa with her Uncle George. And she looked so innocent back then.
Come a long way, baby.
A long way. And then there was a picture of Deepa and Tampy's wedding in 1972. Wow. And look at that.
Beautiful woman.
And Tampy even knew his place. He was behind her.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, what was this one picture where it shows like the wedding reception, but there's an older guy in between you and Tampy? Is that traditional to keep you two away from each other?
Well, that's one way of doing it. He was the president of India.
Oh, yes. My word.
I know. He could do whatever he wanted to do.
I guess so.
Uh-huh.
The president of India.
Yes, remember?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
It was quite a wedding.
And one last thing about her book. We can talk about her book again also because it's such a fascinating book, but Marlene and I, after we got this, and Deepa was so kind to make us a sample of her spicy, snacky peanuts. And we tried them, and they didn't make it home, unfortunately. They were
quite addicting.
There was a terrible accident. They ended up in our mouths.
I love that accident.
And there was a tragedy, but then we said, uh-oh. And then we got then Deepa gave us some of her Deepa secret spices, and we went and got some nuts and made them. And in fact, we even had some last night, and they're addictive, gang. I mean, the book is fabulous. It truly is fabulous. It's one of those where I see hundreds of books every year, and maybe one handful of all those hundreds of books stand out, and this is right at the top of that list. It is that good.
Thank you, Greg.
And I don't say that because I forgot to put that check in the mail.
I was going to send you back the 20 now.
Well, why don't you get it first and we'll talk?
Uh-huh.
But it is that good. And if you
the pictures are gorgeous, but the recipes are
great.
Excellent.
And for all you snackers out there, if you don't buy the book, but for any other reason, it's a spicy snacking peanuts.
You got it.
And they're good.
And the seasoning is the secret.
Is the deepest secrets.
Yes.
And you can make it as light on the spices or as heavy. The spices do have a kick to it.
Oh, but it's so tasty.
But they are delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
and it's great on lamb. I can vouch for that.
Oh yeah, we've had it on lamb too. So that was really good.
And I put it on vegetables.
I might even put it in my beef tongue tacos.
This is turning into an infomercial. I love it. But if I could just, for your listeners, share the reason I wrote this book.
Yes, absolutely.
Was so amazing that everyone needs to know that I literally scorched the very first meal I ever made as a young bride. And yes, I've come a long way. And the reason I share that story is to take the mystery out of cooking, and especially cooking Indian food, which 3,000 years ago, India knew how spices aid in your gut health. And now it's breaking news in America and everywhere else how inflammation starts in an unhealthy gut. It's up to you to keep it healthy. And when you do, you can, as I did, get my husband off of insulin shots in 5 days. A man who took 2 insulin shots for 10 years prior.
Wow.
And he's still off of the insulin. We both lost weight eating 5 meals a day, not 3 large ones. And it's a delicious way to stabilize your blood sugar and be healthy. But I just felt I had to reimagine Indian cuisine, which can be very complicated for the untrained eye. And I took the mystery out of it because I have 2 sons who like to cook. And the recipes have the American audience in mind. And, oh, by the way, it'll get you healthy.
I love it.
I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that you scorched your first meal after that big, large spread that you did when you first met Tampy.
Oh, I didn't bring that up again. Now you're going to have to send me $50. Yes. It took a lot of, I was so unsaleable. My parents had to lie to get rid of me.
I don't know. I see the pictures of you.
It's hard to believe.
You're a beautiful woman now, and you were a very pretty girl back then.
Thank you.
And maybe it was more the taming of the shrew Indian style.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
I like that a lot.
So if I really forget your name, I'm just call you Catherine, and we'll be all set there.
Yes. Yeah. I've been called worse. But as long as we're talking about children, could I say a word about Food Corps and my passion?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
And the reason I bring that up is, this American life, jokes aside, has been the greatest blessing in every sense. Someone I knew for 2 hours that I married, and yes, he looks like Omar Sharif.
Yes.
But there were many bumps along the way, and I think anyone who's had a long marriage would identify that it's a matter of negotiating what's really important in life and how to be grateful.
There you go.
And that is something we learned early on. Tampi had quite a major success in Silicon Valley, and I did fairly well in my design business. And then we got to looking at this book, A Labor of Love, and I said, what can I do in this aggravating world around us? It doesn't matter what the politics are. It is not okay for 1 out of 5 of our American school-going kids to go to bed hungry. And so my husband and I talked about this, and I want your listeners to know that if they truly like this book, then please give it as gifts, because every cent of my royalty will go to Food Corps, which is a nonprofit that connects our children across our country to good, healthy eating habits and healthy food. So I can't imagine anything being more powerful. And if you let me, I'll just read one paragraph from Kurt Ellis's foreword in my book. Kurt Ellis is the co-founder and the CEO of Food Corps.
Mm-hmm.
May I? Just
Sure, absolutely.
So this is what he said. The latest think tank estimates place the cost of our national epidemic of diet-related diseases at 1.4 trillion with a T per year. A little over 400 billion with a B of that is the part we think of first, the medical costs of treating a country with staggering rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. But it's the nearly 1 trillion with a T that holds my interest most. That figure captures the lost economic productivity that comes from our workforce dying younger, progressing less in their careers, attaining less education, and achieving less potential in school. Following each of those $1 trillion to the ground, you will find a child growing up with a broken relationship to food, a child who won't have the chance to fulfill her dreams. Doesn't that say it all? Why we should pay attention to how food can... Health is something we control, folks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There are no excuses, not even good ones. It's not genetics. It really is what we put in our mouth and how we connect our body and spirit. You can't separate this. So if we have big holes in our spirit, or we're feeling sad or depressed, food is not going to fill that HOLE. And very often people try to make food the reason for comfort, the word comfort. But actually, we need to look at this. And I try to touch on it with my life stories, as I had a very adversarial relationship with food. I grew up at a time, I think it still exists, where women thought if they ate, they would get fat. So don't eat. Well, starvation is malnourishment. And I had to come to grips with how do you nourish your body, and how did the country of my birth, Ayurveda, which is the medicine based on plant diet. I don't recommend just a vegetarian diet, but I do recommend that we make vegetables, and especially organic vegetables, a large part of what's on your plate. So that's in a nutshell what I want to share with your listeners, and I hope they at least glance at it. You can go online and look at it if you don't want to buy the book yet. Check it out. It's www.deepersecrets.com, and I think gives you a sense of what I'm up to.
Yes.
Well, gang, not only does all the proceeds go to this charity, and it is catching on like,
we have to take a break.
I'm going to finish my thought after we do this. We got to take our last break, Deepa. We'll be right back. Hang in there. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you are listening to Flavors.
You may already know Cardinale Moving provides residential moves, but did you know we provide much more? Small or large, we move it and store. Our services include moving, inventory management, transportation, installation, and storage. We have worked with dozens of business centers, galleries, hotels, contractors, and designers to move items in and out of a place. We provide free, no obligation quoting. Call us at 831-632-4100.
Is your internet connection slow? Etheric Networks can help you. Etheric Networks is the Bay Area's locally owned alternative to DSL satellite and cable. We do a few things to make our service better. We have a great reputation, and our staff is committed to providing a great user experience. We listen to our customers and listen to our staff. We pay living wages. Our staff are local Bay Area engineers and professionals. We provide flexibility and personalized service. Being in Silicon Valley, we have direct contact with the networking software and hardware companies and can bring new technologies to market before the cable and phone companies. We operate a tower-based fixed wireless network as well as a fiber optic backbone network that rings the Bay. The combination creates an ultra-reliable high-capacity network that you ought to try. KSCO Business Special. Business service up to 10 megabits per second symmetric for as little as $299 a month with a $399 installation fee. Etheric Networks. Call 650-399-4200. Etheric.net.
Okay, we are back. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you're listening to Flavors with our very special guest, Deepa Thomas. Deepa, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Marlene and Greg.
I think, what was I talking about?
Well, we were talking about Deepa's Secrets slow carb new Indian cuisine.
We're talking about eating food as comfort food.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think if more people actually had flavorful food, they wouldn't eat as much because they'd be satisfied. And I think the reason they keep stuffing their faces is primarily because they're looking to be satisfied. And with some of these foods, a lot of these foods, it just never happens. I mean, it just keeps, you keep eating and eating and eating. And
they're looking for flavor.
They're looking for flavor. They're looking for something. And I tell Marlene this every so once in a while. I go, God, I love it when I have a meal where at the end of the meal, like the other night in Half Moon Bay, it was like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
And of course, the company was pretty good too. And it's one where back in my early days of food manufacturing, I serviced a lot of, back then, the catering trucks, which are now they're not really catering trucks, they're those gourmet food trucks. But back in the late 70s, early 80s, these were the trucks that went to warehouses and to fields and things like that. And all they were looking for was tummy stuffers. They go, don't worry about the flavor so much. Make sure that it just gets them full so they can go back to work. And that's all they were looking for. Now, of course, luckily, that whole trend has changed, or is changing, to where people are actually looking for something where they can actually look forward to one of these food trucks showing up, and they're all specialized now. So, the Cuban truck is here today. Oh, wow, that's great. And go on and that, whatever the ethnicity or the other things are going. And I think it's an age thing also, because we took my mother to a Lebanese restaurant last night, and she didn't care for it. And I think it was just she wasn't raised with that type of palate. She was raised with
boiled
everything. New England. We had our first guest on earlier, and she says, "Yeah, I'm from New England. Everything is boiled."
Yes.
Now I'll probably get a bunch of hate mail from a bunch of New Englanders saying, "We don't boil everything." They don't let us do that with our kids anymore. So it's it just, I guess it depends. Now I was raised with my mother's cooking. But whatever the reason was, I broke out of that and started getting into foods that there's no way in God's green earth her or my father would have ever tried. And we had 100 at the LA Food and Wine. We had 150 day old aged foie gras.
Oof.
It was like butter. It was so good. It was
just melted on your tongue.
You couldn't describe it. And they said at some earlier event, he found a foie gras that was in the back of one of his refrigerators and had been there for about 500 days. And they said the chemical composition had totally changed, and it was like something you've never had before. It was just so delicious. But it depends on what your palate is like. Some just right now, this week, I think the Kansas City Royale, the big barbecue contest, is going on, and so of course they're all into big barbecues, which there's nothing wrong with a barbecue, but I guess it just depends on the way you were raised and what your maybe even your ethnicity, but what you're exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But your spices are so unique that you've put together.
Yes.
Thank you, Marlene. And in trying to, take your point is so solid that when you can cook in layers of flavor, and you learn how to do that, that's what I try to do with my recipes, to teach the home chef or share, at the very least, some techniques that are the best from other cuisines. It's not purely Indian, but there's an Indian mirepoix. Now, we don't have mirepoix in Indian cuisine, but I introduced one because it makes the roasting process that much easier. And then I talk about, on page 201, what I call the no-carb comfort foods. Make something more beautiful, a plate, a table, your nightstand, light candles in the bedroom, linger at the table. It's okay to be grateful for some of the same things over and over again. Find nature. Really listen to music, express yourself. I paint oil portraits of people I love, write, dance, build, arrange something, flowers, tools, smell, spices, oil, flannel shirts, lean in to the person next to you at the table, on the couch, in the bed. These are just some of the things I suggest we look at because as human beings we're looking for connection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's flavor and it's connection.
Correct.
And lingering at the table with someone you care about or cooking for someone you love, it really is an appetite suppressant so that you don't overeat if you put meaning and connection into a meal. Don't you think?
I do.
I'm looking through your book, and it says Susan Dreyfus at the Oscars.
Yes.
You been to the Oscars?
No, now Susan Dreyfus is a very interesting lady. She's one of my dear, dear friends. She'll probably shoot me for saying, but she is part of the New York Times family. She and I served on Rhode Island School of Design's board together, and she was nominated for an Oscar for her documentary film. And she, as I said, is the one, I explained the story of how she absolutely forced me to write the stories of my life. She said, your readers will want to know and connect with you if they're going to try the recipes that made your husband and you healthy. You've got to show it. You got to show it from that very first meal or the first food memory I ever had when she asked. Out came a story about my grandmother I hadn't talked about in 50 years. And she's one chapter, Mama. And so as readers look at these chapters, I hope they feel they get to know me and the vulnerability of learning to cook as a life skill and as a way of being healthy in a delicious way. You know, it's all about stabilizing blood sugar. Whether you have diabetes or not, irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
If we stabilize blood sugar, all the manners we're talking about, flavor, layers, sitting with someone you love, taking time, if we do this, no one here is going to be overweight, fighting obesity, diabetes. And that's my proposition to all my readers, and hopefully your listeners are interested.
Right. Yeah, it's not just a cookbook. It's a story
it's life lessons, things like that.
It's a wonderful book.
Caramelized
and a beautiful book.
I never thought about caramelizing shallots before.
And then that becomes a topping on anything. I once said it makes shoe leather taste good. But don't try that recipe.
That's in her next book.
That's in the next book.
101 Ways to Cook Shoe Leather. Peppery papadum, is that how you pronounce that?
Yes, perfect, yes.
Papadum, wow, I'm getting my Indian down.
You got your Indian down.
I got my Indian down. And this is it's a crispy cracker when it's done.
Yeah.
And I've had these in restaurants
Yes.
and never knew what the heck I was eating, but they were very good.
And they're made out of lentil, so it's actually a slow carb, because the difference between slow carb and no carb is that all foods, as we know, convert to sugar. That's how the blood absorbs it and nutrients are in it. However, the length of time a food takes to convert to sugar is important. And the higher the fiber content, as in lentils or green vegetables or proteins, the longer it takes to break down, and it's better for you, and it curbs hunger.
Right.
And the other thing I recommend is page 22, which is the storeroom. Now, I had to learn how to get organized. I wasn't. And if you take a little time to look at that and see how you want to translate it in your life, what are the things you need to have on hand, whether it's in your fridge or your pantry, so you can come home tired and still whip up a meal?
Right.
And that's part of the discipline of not necessarily eating out every day, because delicious as it is, not necessarily healthy for you.
Now in your storeroom here under dried, are all the spices that are in Deepa's Secrets in your dried pantry?
Yes, I normally hold them in seed form because I can roast them and seeds last longer. Whereas once you powder and make it into a powdered spice, yes, there is a shelf life. And after a while, it is just powdered cardboard. If you've got spices from 2 years ago, throw them out.
But the seeds, you can hold the seeds for a lot longer.
And the seeds, I like to say, hold the promise of life for a plant.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it.
And it has the same effect on your body.
Not to change the subject, but I used to raise show dogs, and I'm very jealous because Deepa's son has a dog that Deepa refers to as a genius.
Yes. and her second favorite pet is a slithering snake. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Okay, now it's gone up to $100.
Ginger cabbage slaw.
Yeah.
Ooh, that looks delicious and probably very refreshing too.
Yeah, I love that picture.
Wow.
It's wonderful for you. If anyone wants to lose some weight, there's nothing, these cruciferous vegetables are your best friend, if that's the case. So cabbage, and I show it in different ways, is one of my favorite veggies. Just don't overcook it like, oops, I hope no British person is listening. If you don't overcook it, you're fine,
British food is sort of like Russian food. It's hit or miss.
But it's come a long way. Some of the best Indian restaurants are in London.
Well, that's what we hear. They go, if you want real good Indian food. I go to India. They go, no, go to London.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's where the really good
That's
Indian
where I
food.
had my first Indian food.
Smashed chickpeas and toasted peanut cakes.
Yeah, those are yum. They are so high in protein that you could have a couple of those little puppies and you won't even need your full meal. So that's the other thing. You know, it takes half an hour or more for your brain and stomach to coordinate their messages. So if you are in the practice like I used to do, wolfing down food, you are full long before your brain actually has a chance to say, hey, wait a minute. If you take 5 slow, well-chewed bites, you're probably going to be full. But if you're eating unconsciously, you eat way too much. So back to this little chickpea and peanut cake. It's so simple. I actually make them and freeze them and then toast them up when I have company or we just want a quick little snack. So a lot of my recipes, you can make a batch and freeze half of it for another time.
That was my next question, because I remember many years ago, one of the associates I worked for, his partner was Indian. He probably still is. And his wife, wonderful cook, we were invited over to their home. And she just kept saying, are you still hungry? And back then it was the answer, my go-to answer was yes. And she kept taking out food, and I finally went back in the kitchen. I go, I really feel bad because you keep running back to the kitchen. And she goes, no. She goes, I make all this for people to eat. And she was just pulling out bags out of the freezer and heating them up.
Yeah.
And they were delicious. So you can make a lot of this food ahead of time.
Yeah, and I like to say that Indian food blooms at night. So you leave it in the fridge, it actually gets better the next day.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another advantage. And then I think if you go to Chapter 5, the basics, there are incredible grains like gingered farro, that dish on its recipe page 64, or heritage barley, quinoa, and then one of my favorites is oatmeal upama. Now, upama is a breakfast food in Kerala, the southernmost state of India, but you can use this instead of rice, and the recipe is made with toasted steel-cut oatmeal.
Deepa, hang in there.
Yummy.
We got to take our last break of the show, and we'll be right back. It's going by way too fast today. So hang in there. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you are listening to Flavors.
The following is a KSCO editorial. Here is KSCO owner Michael Zwirling. At a time when people are talking more and more about a looming civil war in our country, I want to share 2 KSCO listener emails that I have received during the past 24 hours. Emailer A says, "Not that you care, but I am done listening to your station. I am not going to rant. Basically, I'm tired of all the politically correct crap you promote on your station, and I'm sick of hearing that big mouth nobody Billy Sunshine run his mouth every day. I just wish I could magically create a giant toilet bowl and flush your station along with Alex Darnell and the rest of your politically correct group. The only normal one there is Charlie, and he's got to be the glue holding your piece of bleep radio station together. Keep on going with your agenda to ruin this country." Emailer B says, "Regarding Georgia, I am disgusted and ashamed to be identified as coming from the same county as that in which this white extremist broadcaster is given a media platform from which to rant dementedly about white genocide in America. If there were ever an incentive to foster such a genocide, it would be her and her like. In fact, of course, any genocide is inhumane and outrageous to advocate. What is needed is to shut the woman up, now." Though speaking from opposite perspectives, both emailer A and emailer B have one striking thing in common. They both want to shut down free speech. I believe that if they and other enemies of free speech are successful, then there will indeed be a civil war in our country, sooner than we think. Opposition to free speech and free thought has gotten so strong and overpowering now that locally,
an outspoken but politically incorrect talk host on KSCO, has resigned, and one of the most popular restaurants for nearly 4 decades has been forced to close. Do we want a civil war? If yes, stay the course. It is working beautifully. If no, fight the urge to kill free speech by using free speech in reasonable civil discussion, and appreciate that you still have it. KSCO KOMY remains proud to be the venue for free speech and reasonable discussion. For KSCO and KOMY, I'm Michael Zwirling.
Okay, we're back. And I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you are listening to Flavors. And I have to disagree with that second letter that he actually read out, because we all know that flavors is the glue that holds everything together.
That's right.
That's right.
Indeed.
Yeah, I actually listen to those things.
And what I like about your spices and your ingredients in your book is that you're able to go to the store and find them.
That's right. Yeah. They're easily accessible.
Yes.
Important, right?
Yes, very important.
Hot and crispy cabbage. Is that with the deep spicy nuts on them?
You got it. See what you can do with.
Yes.
You can make it as a snack. You can use it as a topping. And I really encourage your listeners and my readers to go off book. Once you get the basic principles of how to cook this way, then you make up your own recipe. But fundamentally, you infuse an oil with seeds and spices. Mm-hmm. I call it informing the oil. Mm-hmm. Then you layer it with a few more aromatics. And then the main showstopper, whatever your choice is. And don't forget, when you finish, to do a topping, even if it is lemon zest. And for anyone listening, if they want to come to a live talk, I'm speaking at Book Passage in Corte Madera, Saturday, September 16th at 4 p.m. So I'd love to meet some of your listeners if they would be so kind as to attend.
Deepa, why don't you email that to us, and we'll put it on our Flavors is Everything site.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Where is Book Passages for our listeners?
Corte Madera.
Corte Madera.
They have 3 stores, and I'm happy to say Elaine Petrocelli, the owner of the bookstore, independent bookstore, says I'm number 1 book in all 3 stores.
Oh, that's
something.
Fabulous.
Well, now you're going on your third
printing,
right?
Yes, in 2 months.
In 2 months, gang, that's unheard of. I mean, I've done probably in the 4 years close to 900 interviews, and that is unheard of.
Yeah.
So this is like a rarity, and this is a jewel.
The book is wonderful.
And both Deepa and her husband Tampy, who the only thing that bugged me about Tampy is he talks a lot. We can't get a word in edgewise. He had a great line. He goes, we're all talking. He goes, okay, well, to get back to my question.
Poor guy.
He's a really nice guy. You could actually make a sauté peanut sauce out of these peanuts, too.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
Wouldn't that give a great flavor to it?
Yes.
And if you tried the General Joseph 5-star chicken batons, page 176, it's an easy recipe, but you would make a crowd happy if you made them for appetizers with your favorite beverage.
Oh, look at that. You could dip that in your special Deepa peanut sauce.
There you go.
Oh, my God. Look.
And then you end with something like mango lassi, which is...
I saw that.
Yeah.
I could have these just for the heck with appetizers. I'd have these for dinner.
Well, it's so hot. We're having chicken salad for dinner with Deepa's nuts.
Oh, perfect.
In the salad.
And you can do go nuts, which is the other healthy snack recipe I do. And I think keeping some of these things on hand, preparing some garlic, mash it up and put it in a tub and keep it in the fridge, grate some ginger, get it ready. So you have these things on hand when you're whipping up a meal. Is not a good time to go chopping garlic and grating ginger, for instance.
No.
So I had to learn to get efficient with my time. When you're running a company and you come home and there are hungry mouths to feed, you got to get organized.
Your ginger, do you skin your ginger first and then grate it?
I don't.
You don't, okay.
If I find really fresh ginger, and you can these days, then just give it a good rinse, and all the nutrition is in the skin anyway.
Oh, okay.
But if you're going to find some old ginger somewhere, then please go ahead and scrape the skin off.
Okay. Yeah, I took over for our Rotary Club. They had this albacore feed, and we used to. It was called the Salmon Trout Project, but it was albacore that I cooked for about 300 people. And part of the marinade that I did this with was a lot of ginger. And the way I was taught was you get the ginger and then you skin the ginger, which is always a heck of a lot of fun. And then grate it. And I finally ended up looking at the recipe, and I kind of upgraded it and changed things around a little bit. And I ended up where, because I was in such a hurry, I actually, because I didn't want to skin the ginger anymore. I actually use granulated ginger, and it worked out well. But of course, it's not better than fresh, obviously.
Yeah, and the fresh has nutrients that are it's one of the most anti-inflammatory foods you can use. Coincidentally,
Go ahead.
The flavor, your point of view is so valid. Bring up the flavor, but don't forget that you can really help your health by focusing on the anti-inflammatory foods that I recommend in my recipes.
Yeah, this was for banquet cooking, so I wasn't
concerned about it.
I wasn't too concerned about that. I was looking for the flavor and for getting 300 dishes out as fast as possible.
I can imagine, yeah.
Mary's famous cutlet meatballs. And what are they swimming in? Yogurt?
Yeah, it's a yogurt-based now Chuku's yogurt salad. If you have a little leftover, then the next day you might make my mother's famous cutlets. Mary was my mother's name. And she made cutlets, and they were more like croquets, British, very British. And I've done a take on it and healthified it, if you will. But they're really, I promise you, these will be the most interesting meatballs you've had. Nothing like the dried hockey pucks sometimes.
You know, ladies, for all you young gals that are out there looking for a husband that don't know how to cook, this secured the deal for Deepa right here. This is one of the dishes.
Now, it works the other way for young men who are looking for brilliant women.
Yes.
Equal time, right, Marlene?
You know what I like about all of us? We're so modest.
We're legends in our own mind.
Legends in our own mind. But the meatballs look delicious, and in the yogurt sauce, yum, yum, yum.
Yes, and the fresh coconut. The coconut sauces are worth trying. You won't find them in most Indian restaurants, but the state Kerala, which has an abundance of coconut trees. So some of those recipes, like a tangle of crab legs and savory coconut cream, is just to die for and very easy to make.
And now I'm going to pronounce this correctly. Keema spicy beef. Is it keema?
You got it. Your Indian is all perfect.
Oh, my golly. I think I'm getting it.
Now you cross the line.
Now I cross the line. Oh, if you're looking for a PC show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had to pronounce all these chefs over, close to 80 chefs over last weekend.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm terrible with names. And I was going, I kept getting them right. And I'm going, oh my God, who am I?
But keema spicy beef is one of those recipes that if you have ground beef on hand and you have a few vegetables on hand, you won't believe how delicious this becomes.
Look at that. Doesn't that look good?
That's delicious.
Yeah. And you can whip it up for a whole group of people and not spend too much money, which is how it came about in our Stanford student days. My husband and I living on $300 a month,
wow.
Which I can even, 50 of that went to rent. And so you had to cut corners, and that's an homage to our student days.
Yes.
Carrots. I'm just looking at the vegetables. Carrots, bell peppers, leeks, and potatoes.
And you can vary
Or
them with
turnips.
what you have in the fridge, but it's the process, and the flavor is unbelievable.
What's that root vegetable that I like so much?
Parsnips.
Parsnips too.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Love
You can
parsnips.
You can add that.
Yeah, we try to if we're ever gonna want to do a potato dish, and we get a hold of some parsnips. That's what we substitute the potatoes with parsnips.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Truck stop pork chops.
Oh, that may be the showstopper of the lot.
Wow.
And if you ever try that out, please let me know, because I was so happy the way that recipe turned out. And I know it can be a go-to recipe for people who have a penchant for pork chops.
Wow. What are you cooking for dinner tonight, Deepa?
Well, we're going out.
Yes, I don't blame you. Sunday nights with your family.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Sunday. I keep forgetting today is Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You're going to go visit that genius dog. That's right.
Genius dog that has a drool. You know, my son and his partner like to save animals.
Yeah.
And bless their hearts.
Yeah.
These two have to take the cake for retardedness. I'm sorry. No collars, please. But they are so adorable. They're my grand dogs.
See, I was trying to be nice about this, but
Yeah, well, get to the point.
Deepa's son has a retarded dog.
But we love Lily and we love Foxy.
But we're not so wild about
Kiki,
which is the snake.
Oh my God, that just is beyond my tolerance. But we won't go there.
You mean when they go out and they're looking for pet sitters, you don't volunteer? You don't go, oh.
It's not happened yet.
Oh, it hasn't. Well, these guys have dog masseuses, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, dog masseuse.
Dog masseuses.
Only in America, right?
Only in Silicon Valley.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so your charity is what again? Let's go through that.
It's a non-profit, and it's called Food Corps, FOODCORPS. And again, it's on my website, but I'll send you an email with a link to it.
Wonderful.
Send that. We'll put that right on our
website,
Facebook, and our website.
Yep.
Beautiful. And Kurt Ellis is this absolutely brilliant young man who came out of Yale, and he could have written his ticket anywhere, but he chose this cause to help our American children. You don't need to go to India and Africa. It is unacceptable that we have children who go to bed hungry.
Absolutely.
And he decided to do something about it across the country.
That's wonderful.
That is wonderful. Well, Deepa, we appreciate you coming back on.
Thank you.
We will talk to you very soon. And we'll keep this going. But send us that information. We'll get it on our sites. And, gang, this is a worthwhile thing because no kid in America should be going to bed hungry.
Absolutely.
Period.
Well, I so appreciate both of you giving me this time, and thank you to your listeners. And we'll talk soon.
All right, Deepa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Okay, gang. Well, that's our show. I want to thank everybody. Want to thank all our guests, Deepa and Tracy and Martin Yan. I want to thank all of our listeners for listening. Appreciate it. Frank, sorry we didn't get to your call. Call us next week. I'll put you on. And let's see. MZ, as always, thank you. Jason, our man. Couldn't do it without him. He was the one who did the
queued up Martin
for us, so we appreciate that. Everything. The show is hopefully going really well. We appreciate you listening. So remember, keep your hot foods hot.
Cold foods cold.
And remember,
flavor is everything.
KSCO,
Bye.
Santa Cruz.
The options, and the president wanted to be briefed on each one of them. We made clear that we have the ability to defend ourselves and our allies, South Korea and Japan, from any attack, and our commitments among the allies are ironclad.
On Face the Nation, CBS's Mike Morrell said there are no great options to respond to North Korea's latest nuclear test.
A military option, which would probably not be successful in fully degrading his capabilities and could create, most likely, a second Korean War, thousands of deaths. Or the other option is acceptance of this capability, containment, deterrence, just the way we contained and deterred the Soviet Union.
After his state was hit by deadly flooding, Texas Governor Greg Abbott took part in a day of prayer services at an Austin church.
In this tragedy, we have seen what happens so often, and that is God working through us. Think of what you have seen. Think of the ways that you've seen Texan helping Texan.
As Southern California continues to deal with an intense heat wave, hundreds of people have been forced to evacuate from the path of what's described as the biggest wildfire in Los Angeles history. KNX's John Baird.
It's still stifling hot today, of course, but not as hot as yesterday, and there's just a hint of a breeze, at least here at the command post, and authorities are confident they can make big strides today. LA Fire Chief Ralph Terrazas.
Biggest challenge and risk is the wind. We are anticipating favorable weather today and the rest of the week. Temperatures are coming down, humidity is going up.
3 homes have been destroyed so far, another one damaged as flames have swept through nearly 6,000.